I used to believe running a successful business meant 80-hour weeks and an endless stream of clients. Turns out that belief was the exact reason I worked so bloody much. Because guess what? You can scale your business working just 4 focused hours a day, but only if you make these 4 strategic changes. And every time I've helped a client implement this at selfmastery.co, they made more, worked less, and finally felt in control again. So I'm going to show you what these changes are, and most importantly, how you can implement them so you can scale your business in less than 4 hours a day. Let's dive in. So there's a habit that silently makes or breaks every business owner's results, and almost nobody does it. And I'm not just saying that, I truly mean it. Because here's a harsh truth. If your business isn't where you want it to be, it's not because you're lazy, it's not because of the market or because you need more time or whatever excuse that you use. It's simply because you're not doing the right things, or you haven't done the right things for long enough. Because if you did the right things and you did them for long enough, your business would be where you want it to be. Simple. And look, I'm not immune to this, okay? I'm not some fucking super soldier or superhero. In a past life, yeah, I suppose you could say, I used to spend 10 hours a day doing all the right things, or so I thought. But my revenue was stuck for so damn long, and it didn't matter how much more I worked, nothing changed. Until one day, I hired a coach who made me realize how hard you work doesn't matter if you're working on the wrong things. So I implemented one simple rule. At the end of each day, I would simply ask myself, what is the single most important thing I can do tomorrow? Then I blocked out 90 to 120 minutes every morning with my phone turned off, emails disabled, and distractions removed to do that most important thing. No reacting, no distractions, no, quick tasks beforehand. I'm not going to just do this one thing before I start this. No, it was straight into that most important thing. And the results, they were wild. Within 30 days, I think it was, I relaunched my, at the time, high ticket offer, broke through my revenue ceiling, and I did it all whilst working less. Because I finally worked on that right thing. But here's how you apply this, and it takes less than 5 minutes a day, so there's no excuse not to do it. Every evening, ask yourself, if I could only do one thing tomorrow to grow my business, what would it be? Then schedule 90 to 120 minutes, so an hour and a half or 2 hours in your calendar to go all in on that one thing. That means you should be doing that task in a state of deep work, because something I see with all my clients at selfmastery.co, links in the description by the way, all the time is that a 1 hour task or project ends up taking, 3 hours, simply because every 5 minutes are checking emails and then checking them with the team, then getting distracted. Fuck that, okay? Stop that, okay? You will literally reclaim hours every day and make so much more progress if you just focused. And this one habit of figuring out your most important thing alone will transform your business, because most entrepreneurs don't need more time. They just need to stop spending it on the wrong things. Because the most powerful skill you can build in a business is that of being able to prioritize. And this is the most simple way to do that. Because obviously there's more complex ways to prioritize, but if you can just sit down and think, okay, what's the most important thing I can do to grow my business? And then you do it tomorrow, your business will grow. Okay? It is that simple. But here's the thing. Executing on that most important task and doing your deep work becomes almost impossible if you're buried in chaos. And that's where this next step comes in. So let me say something that might sting a little, and I don't apologize because somebody needs to tell you it, and if that makes me the bad guy, so be it. It will help you. If your business does not have systems, then you are the system. And if you are the system, then you're also the bottleneck, which means 2 things, okay? 1, your business is capped by your potential. 2, the more your business grows, the more it traps you because it is growing because of your effort. And most business owners say they want freedom, but yet they'll never build systems. They'll avoid them, and without systems, you don't build freedom. You build a bloody high-stress job that relies on your constant input. Like, one of my clients was doing like 20k a month and absolutely hated what they were doing. From onboarding clients to writing emails to chasing tasks with his small team, everything flowed through him. Every decision, every delivery, every problem came straight to his phone. Nothing got done without him doing it, or at least approving it, which meant he didn't have the capacity for more clients, which meant his revenue was stuck, and he had to spend serious hours working every day just to keep the business running. He needed a new way of working. So I got him to strip it all back. We mapped out every process in his business, starting with the ones he didn't need to do, that took the most time, and that he hated doing the most. I get him to document the steps in SOPs. We then audited the SOPs, simplified them, automated steps, and turned them into repeatable systems. Suddenly, his team didn't need him for every little thing. Clients are onboarded automatically, content was edited perfectly, clients got results. And the amount of time he spent working halved. He went from being the bottleneck of the system to being the visionary of the business. And if you want to grow whilst working less, systems are non-negotiable, okay? And something I say to my clients all the time is that systems can seem incredibly overwhelming and complicated. Like, where on earth do you start? Where? But here's the thing, no system needs to be perfect, like ever. You can just change your systems in the future, and you likely will change them in the future. So just get something down, just map out the functions, then the processes of those functions, and the SOPs of those processes. And don't get caught up in how good it is or how effective the system is, or even if it's right, because guess what? There isn't really a right or wrong way to build a system. Like, yes, there are guiding principles you should follow, you know, but systems are half art and half science. The art part of systems is that you can go as high level or as granular and detailed as you want, and that they're entirely custom to your business and your needs. So just build them. Don't put all this pressure on yourself of being right or wrong. And look, to help you out, I made a massive deep dive video into how to build systems so your business can run without you. I will link it at the end of this video. You can check it out. It'll show you everything you need to know about building systems. But in short, to make this applicable and not overwhelming, pick one area of your business this week, something that takes a ton of your time. Follow the steps in the video that I'll link at the end of this one and systemize it. Then move on to another area and repeat. Because it doesn't matter where you start really with what system, because in the long run everything will be systemized, but it'll only be systemized if you start by systemizing something. So just choose something, choose the thing that takes the most time. This is how you streamline workflows, make delegation easy, and actually separate your business from your direct input. Because until your business can run without you, you don't own a business, you are the business. But look, even the best systems won't save you if you're still spending most of your time in the wrong task. So let's fix that. You have to understand that you don't have a time problem. You never have a time problem, nobody does. You simply have a prioritization problem. You see, every task can be split into two categories. It's either a maintenance task that is necessary for keeping the business running, or it's a growth task that's necessary for growing the business. Obviously, you probably also have tasks that fall into a third category, which is useless. They just don't need done, but that's besides the point. Your whole job, when you think about it as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as a CEO, is to focus as much as you can on growth tasks, on the things that grow the business. That's your job. Yet most entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, founders are stuck doing $10 per hour maintenance tasks whilst complaining that they don't have time for a $1,000 per hour strategy or $10,000 per hour systems. Look, have you ever lay in bed and tried your best to fall asleep, but the more you tried, the more anxious and awake you became, and it wasn't working? Well, business is the exact same, okay? Most business owners work 60 or 80-hour weeks, putting in too much effort on the wrong things, the maintenance tasks, and it actually stops them from growing because you end up with no time to spend on the growth tasks. This is why you feel like nothing's working, and why you have to work 10-hour days, 12-hour days just to grow slowly. But the solution here is pretty simple, especially when you've built your systems from step 3. List out everything you did last week, okay? Categorize each task into either a $10 per hour task, $100 per hour task, or a $1,000 per hour task. The $1,000 per hour tasks are your growth tasks. They're what grow the business. So it could be systems, it could be content creation, it could be strategy, whatever grows your business, okay? The $100 per hour and $10 per hour tasks are maintenance tasks. They're necessary for the business to operate, but they don't grow it. This is the likes of customer support, video editing, emails, admin, etc. The $1,000 per hour category will have the least number of tasks, okay? But they are your priority that you should be focusing on. They grow the business, that's your job. But look at every task in the $10 per hour and $100 per hour categories. Go through each task and ask yourself these questions. If I eliminated this task, would my business fall apart? If no, then eliminate it. If yes, ask yourself, if I automated this task, would my business fall apart? If no, then find a way, if possible, to automate it. If yes, or if there's no way to automate it, ask yourself, if I delegated this task, would my business fall apart? If no, then find a way to delegate it. Now, theoretically, in an ideal world, every $10 and $100 per hour task would and can and should be delegated. and it'll have no impact on your business. It's really just a choice that you have to make as to whether you already have someone on your team you can delegate these tasks to, or whether you want to hire someone, etc. That's up to you. Because look, you don't have to delegate them, but understand that if you can't eliminate it, if you can't automate it, and you choose not to delegate it, then you have to spend time doing it. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. This is your business, but it's only fine if you choose to do it. See, at selfmastery.co, my company, my whole thing is helping entrepreneurs scale their business in less than 4 hours a day. But what you do with the other hours is up to you. If you want to work more, you can. If you want to pick up a new hobby, you can. It's entirely your choice. So you can do the maintenance tasks if you want, that's fine. But if there's a maintenance task you're going to do, you must, and I mean must, do them after your growth tasks, because the growth tasks are the priorities. So you need to prioritize them, and that simply means you do them first. So when you're planning your days, creating your schedule, schedule your most important thing first, then schedule your other growth tasks that you need to do, then schedule your maintenance tasks if you're choosing to do them. And yes, you need to schedule your day. If you want to improve how you spend your time and take back control of your business, you first need to bring order and clarity to how you spend it, and you do that through a schedule. I see so many entrepreneurs and founders and business owners, etc., whatever you want to call yourself, complaining that business is hard, and then they don't have a schedule. It's like, well, of course fucking business is hard. You're not choosing where you're going to dedicate your time to and what areas, and therefore you just, as humans, will always resort to the path of least resistance. So without a schedule and a predetermined way to spend our time, we end up doing easy tasks, maintenance tasks, that don't grow the business. Therefore, business feels hard because you never have the time to do the tasks that actually matter, because you don't create the time to do the tasks that actually matter. Therefore, business doesn't grow, and it's all stress. Okay? So have a damn schedule. Don't complain about how little time you have or how out of control your day feels when you don't have a schedule. Simple. Now, there is a final lever you can pull to work less and earn more, and it is the one most entrepreneurs actually avoid. Most people undercharge, not because of logic, but mainly because of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of losing clients, whatever it is. But underpricing is the fastest way to overwork and ruin your bloody business. If your whole business strategy is being the cheapest, guess what? Somebody will undercut you, which means your ideal clients who want the cheapest thing will go to them. Therefore, you have to drop your prices further to get your ideal client back, and therefore you make less revenue per client, less profit per client. So as your margin shrinks, scaling gets hard, if not impossible. Like, this is exactly why I charge a lot of money at selfmastery.co. It's not cheap to work with me. It's why I also only work with people already making 6 figures. Because here's the thing about lowering your prices, especially of a service-based business, the lower your prices, the worse your client quality. As a general rule, you know, there's obviously exceptions to that, but it's a general rule. The tighter your margins due to lower prices, the more stressful and difficult your business becomes. I had a client once who was charging like $2,000 for his service, great offer, strong results, but he was constantly overwhelmed, couldn't grow. And on a call, I just straight up said to him once, raise your bloody prices. And by the look in his face, you'd think I shot him. But he said, if I raise my prices, you know, I'll lose my clients, whatever he said. I ended up basically explaining some unit economics of how if you double your price, you can lose 50% of your clients and still be making the same amount of money. Even if your close rate drops 50%, you still only need to sign half as many clients to make so much money, etc. But you do it. You can make the same money through lower volume. Therefore, you work less whilst making higher profit because you have higher prices, and therefore you also have less probably operational costs due to dealing with a lower volume of clients. It always works out better. Now, obviously that relies on your service being good and you actually being able to do what you say, and the result or outcome that you're promising being worth the higher price that you're charging 100%. That you obviously have to consider that nuance, but it almost always works out better. So with all of that, that was enough to basically convince him, and so we raised his prices. But we didn't just raise his price, because really a price rise should be justified by supply and demand. And you know, that's a whole other video on the economics of pricing and how to manipulate supply and demand to allow you to raise your prices without ruining the business. So I'll not go into that here, but if you want me to make a video on how you can do that, just let me know in the comments below. But we basically rebuilt his offer to justify the price rise. We added bonuses, increased support, clarified some outcomes, and he started charging, I think it was 5k or 6k, and guess what? His close rate actually barely changed, but yet his income doubled. And his clients, they were more committed because they had put more of an investment in. They got better results than ever due to their higher commitment, and also due to the fact that he had more money because it was higher profit to hire more people to give better support, etc. And due to those higher profit margins, he could also hire people to take some tasks off his plate, so he made more money. and work less, and he had more time to work on things that actually grew the business, the growth tasks. Trust me, raise your prices, it almost always works out best. In all seriousness, you don't need more clients. You can get more clients if you want. There's nothing wrong with scaling through volume, but what you do need is better positioning and pricing. And 99% of the time, the only thing stopping you from raising prices is you. There's always this huge level of resistance that people face when you tell them charge more. And I get it. Every single time I've charged more, I've been like, fuck, what if this doesn't work out? But guess what? You do it, you make more money, you thank yourself later. So ask yourself, what would need to change in your offer to confidently double your prices? I'm not telling you to double your prices. You can, that's up to you. Like, you know, especially at selfmastery.co, my whole thing, I'm not there to teach people how to market and sell. That's not my job. My job is to help you build systems for your business and your personal operations so you can work less and scale faster, okay? The only real business coaching that I do with marketing and selling is really around pricing. Just charge more, okay? Obviously, there's a lot of nuance like that I covered, but you know, it's still charge more. What you want to do when you're thinking of how can I raise my prices and what do I need to do, what do I need to change about my offer to raise my prices, you want to think better outcomes, better support, better positioning, a better, bigger promise potentially. Again, that depends on the market and, you know, marketing awareness levels, etc., and how sophisticated the market is. But really, the only way to truly tell if a price rise is going to work is to test it. Bring it to the market, let the market tell you if you're charging too much, because often if you double your prices, you can still make the same money, your unit volume might decrease, but the higher price will normally cover the volume decrease, and the higher prices means more money actually coming into your pocket, and the volume decrease means you spend less time working. But of course, the only way to know if this will work for you for sure is to bloody track it, okay? To try it. Track the data, give it 1 to 2 months, fuck around, and then find out. But in the meantime, whilst you do that, you need to build systems. So click this video on screen and I'll show you exactly how to build systems so your business runs without you.